headshot mistakes that new actors make. And this isn't to like shame you or to like be like, ha ha. Like, I made these mistakes, guys. So I'm going to tell you guys the mistakes I made and how I approach my headshot sessions now, so you get the most bang for your buck and you get the best value that you can out of your investment, because headshot sessions and headshots are just expensive. Let's be real, they are. But don't waste the money for headshots that you can't use. And I have outlined here what the common mistakes are when it comes to headshot sessions. So for the most part, the main problem is not making a plan. So you didn't study the market you're in. You just came in, you put on this random solid color t-shirt like what I'm wearing. No styling, no like look. Maybe you're doing your own hair and makeup, or you have hired a hair and makeup, but you're just like kind of like, oh, just do something, like there's not a plan behind it. There's no intention behind it. Before even looking into you should be looking at a headshot session the moment, you start deciding that you want to be an actor, but, looking for headshot photographers, I should say. But you need to study your market. And I'm speaking more on the Southeast. So if you're in the Southeastern market, you need to figure out what shows are casting in your area. Research those shows, the production team, the directors, the casting directors, literally research the ish out of those shows and see if if there's a possibility that maybe, not even a possibility, just research the shows and see like, okay, for example, The Walking Dead, they have like a spin-off series filming down here. So, okay, do I have any headshot sessions that can get me in the door when it comes to like, whatever be zombies, a post-apocalyptic, like do I have like a version of that in my headshot session? So, or my headshot photos, I'm sorry. So you have to study the market and you have to see like, okay, so these are the type of roles that I get cast for. If you haven't seen my video on the types, like how to find your type, I have a video that I'm sure I'll link somewhere on here or wait to the end or whatever. But you have to, look at like the types of roles that you're going to look. And I'm actually getting ahead of myself. I'm going to get into like type in a minute. But anyway, if you just go in, let's revert. So if you just go in, you're like, I just have this t-shirt and, I have like hair and makeup and let's do this thing like with no plan, no intention, no nothing. Like you're just gonna be like, it's just a plain Jane picture. Like it's like it doesn't tell casting anything. It's just like, oh, this is a person, like it's a person. It's cool. I wish I could show you guys. Like I lost some of my first headshots, but like some of the first headshots were just so random and weird. I literally, and like theatrical and commercial shots, everybody should at least start out with a theatrical and commercial shot. Theatrical is like your headshot for like getting cast in theatrical projects like TV, film, movies, and then commercial is obviously for commercials. So, even looking at a theatrical and commercial shot with sometimes like a plain Jane, shirt could work. I still had like no expression, no nothing. And usually like a good headshot photographer, they know what they're doing. They're going to bring that out of you. But I literally like had no plans. Like I literally was like, okay, I have a red shirt, I have a green shirt, and I have a blue shirt. And I'm doing 3 looks. But the looks were just like the same, but in a different colored shirt. Like, is this starting to make sense? So let me see here. So not making a plan, literally like look at the market and just, if you want to just start out with a theatrical and commercial, great. But make sure those shots are enhancing what your type and your essence generally is. So what I do is I immediately go to Pinterest. I look at the shows that are casting and I'm like, okay, so I could see myself as that, like a nurse in that show. I could see myself as probably like one of like the military people in The Walking Dead, or I could see myself possibly as like the housekeeper for this show, for Dynasty or something. And then literally like, honestly guys, I literally just like screenshot or take a picture of like what they're wearing, of whoever is on my type or my essence of the show, and then just like kind of like go to a thrift store or go shopping and mimic, like copy that outfit. Like that's literally what I do. Or I go on Pinterest and I look up like housekeeping outfits or like just housekeeping in general. I'm just giving you guys an example, but just study your market, like not making a plan, go in with an intention, start out with a good theatrical and commercial, but just make sure that the theatrical and commercial is not just like you in like a random shirt. Like make sure it's telling a story, like make sure, not even telling a story, just make sure it's like showcasing there you go, like enhancing your essence and your type, that the casting, when they see the pictures, are like, oh, she seems like a fiery Latina, or oh, he seems like the cool, like, best friend. Like, just, we'll get into specific looks in a second, but your theatrical commercial should just be like, this is me. Not like, this is me. This is me. Okay? Does that make sense? Being too glam, ladies, especially us, you don't need to be too glam. And I've noticed with like larger, like plus size women or like heavier set women, we also try to go for like our best angles. I know that all too well. Like we go for like our best angles. We're like, oh, I look like skinnier and thinner, or like my face has more structure and just, y'all, I'm telling you guys, you think your imperfections are going to hinder you, but sometimes they're going to be your bread and butter. I'm telling you, what one director might not like, another director will see so much opportunity in it. Please just embrace those imperfections, embrace those flaws, those wrinkles, those smile or frown lines or whatever they're called, like that, just embrace all of that textured hair. Like, these are all going to work for your benefit, and there's no like cookie cutter, like standard image. Despite what like the media wants to tell you, there is no cookie standard picture of what an actor should look like. You should allow that these imperfections, what you think are these imperfections, to work for you, because they do. So I guess I'll give you guys an example from my own life. Like, I obviously, like, my weight, like, sometimes could be my biggest insecurity, but I've noticed that like a lot of times, like, that has helped me book compared to like, it's just, I've been kind of in the minority when it comes to being heavy set than it would be them being, thin and what the society would deem as beautiful, right? So let that work to your advantage. Don't let your imperfections be your power. Seriously, because they will be. They truly will be. Don't be too glam. Don't get that smoky eye and that like big 50s hair. No, study your market and mimic what's in your market, in your headshots. Also, not getting a professional headshot photographer, guys. Just because your neighbor next door has a fancy headshot, like a fancy camera, doesn't mean that they're qualified to give headshots. Research, ask people around who you really like their headshots and you feel like they tell a story or they enhance what their look is. Ask them who they went to. Get like recommendations from people, and just do your research, because I'm going to be doing a video on like headshot photographers that I recommend in Atlanta. But don't go to just a Joe Schmo or like, your next door neighbor Karen, because these are going to be your calling card. These are your business cards, and casting can tell when a headshot is. Sometimes you get away with it, but nothing screams I'm a professional than going with a professional headshot photographer. So they can tell a difference. Some might be a little sneaky. Some might get away with it, but they can tell. Also, choosing your own headshots. I always have like generally like what I think are like articulating best like the story or like the essence of what I'm trying to say in my headshot. But I also like to ask just like random friends, like, hey, I don't like to ask parents or family, because I'll be like, oh, yours looks so pretty in this one. But some of my friends who are actors will be like, oh, this is a good look. Oh, this one tells me that you're like, you've been through stuff. This one is saying that you just, got in off the bus from from Mexico. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, also like getting an acting coach as well, going through those headshots. A lot of people are like, oh, well, what if I ask my agents, you guys, and managers? Maybe a manager can help you, but y'all, agents are busy. This is your job. The agents just work with what you give them, but y'all go with a manager or your manager or a coach, an acting coach, or a friend who are actors, and have them tell you like, oh, this one says this story, oh, but this one says this story, this one is bland, this one washes you out. Get like some honest feedback. Don't just go for like the pretty picture that you're like, oh, I like the angle in this one, because no, we don't do that. But the last thing I want to say is be specific, especially when you're first starting. Oh, I'm already over time. But especially when you're first starting out and you're going to be going for a lot of co-stars, date players, just like smaller roles, one-liner roles. They love to see the different types of looks and range. I don't want to say range, but the different types of looks and the type of people that you could be cast as. So me, if I were starting out, it'd be cop, guard, nurse, nurturing mother, immigrant, those type of roles. So, be specific, because those are going to help you so much, because that's what they're looking for with these smaller type of roles. It's just like, do they look the part, and can they say the line? So be specific, and I would say that generally with headshots, like, be specific, study the market, and do the thing. But when it comes to starting out, like, get as many looks as possible with different types and have fun with it, because y'all, those are gonna help you out tremendously. So yeah, I hope this helps, and let me know if you guys need any clarification in the comments below. Bye.